Welcome back, everyone, and welcome to those joining us now on the European Development Days. My name is Valérie, and together with Dave, we will be introducing you to a Brussels afternoon dedicated to green economy for people and nature.
Yes, hello again, everyone. What a productive morning we've had already. We've heard from top world and community leaders, practitioners, and activists. We have explored many interesting topics from sustainable blue economy and green finance to sustainable urbanization, rural transformation, and green economy.
And let's not forget about our young leaders too. They have brought passion, charisma and talent to their panels. But that's not the last time we will hear from them on the European Development Days, right, Dave?
That's right, Valerie. We'll hear from more youth leaders this afternoon, both on their respective panels as well as in the special events. But first things first, we have 4 more topics to explore this afternoon and some excellent guides to introduce them. Let's hear from our thematic moderators. What do you have in store for us?
First in line is Siobhan. You are an EU energy and climate journalist, streaming from Studio 2. Actually, Siobhan, that's the question. How can we sustainably stream?
Thank you. Hello, Valerie. Yes, this is TV Studio 2, where we will be focusing on sustainable energy and specifically how to give more people access to it from Africa to Azerbaijan. Now, when I talk about sustainable energy, I'm talking about renewable energy, which is wind and solar, but also about using energy more efficiently. So that's all energies, using them more energy efficiently. This afternoon, we have many sessions on Africa. We are looking at how to bring renewables to households, hospitals, and farmers in small communities. And this is all about simple things that we might take for granted here in Brussels, such as being able to cook with clean energy like electricity, and what a difference this can make to the daily lives of people and their health. So we will be hearing from some top decision makers from international bodies like the World Health Organization, the European Investment Bank, and also local actors and people organizing projects on the ground. Later, we're going to have an interview with one of the European Development Days young leaders that you were talking about earlier, Chibuna Ogbonna, and talking about his work to bring solar power to hospitals and clinics in Nigeria and beyond. But we're also looking at projects in countries to the east of Europe, from Azerbaijan to Belarus, and in particular Ukraine. And they are focused on helping people to use energy more efficiently in their homes, their schools and hospitals. And like the work in Africa, this is all about improving people's daily living conditions. But this is not just about improving daily lives. We'll also be hearing about how projects promoting sustainable energy also help to cut greenhouse gas emissions to protect the climate. So we know the EU wants to have net zero emissions by 2050. That's where the European Green Deal roadmap is taking us. And the European Union wants to help its neighbours and its partners to cut their emissions too, because climate, as we all know, is a global issue. So we have giving people more comfortable lives and protecting the climate. These are 2 key themes. But there's also another angle, and that is how sustainable energy supports the EU's wider development goals. And these are things like gender equality and empowering young people. And we do this by helping women and children to stay healthy and spend less time on their daily chores. So we have a fascinating afternoon here at TV Studio 2, and I want to invite everyone to join us here to find out more about how sustainable energy is supporting the EU's development and climate goals. Back to you, Dave.
Thanks, Siobhan. Okay, so let's move on to water and sanitation. They're really key elements for achieving a greener economy. Our thematic moderator for this topic will be Nicolas GOTTMANN, a policy officer in the Environmental and Sustainable Natural Resources Unit at the European Commission, who is a member of the water team. So, Nicolas, we know we need the water flowing, but can you tell us, will the conversation flow in your panel?
That is a very good question, Dave. And in fact, the wash sector is overflowing with opportunities. And we're going to talk about these opportunities today. They're going to be front and center in our discussion. And as you might know, they're manifesting in many ways. They're a really precious resource, water that is, for a number of SDGs. So today what we're going to be looking at is, for one, the economic merit of the water sector. In fact, there's a number I very much like. It's that every euro that you invest into the sector comes back 2 to 5-fold. And at the same time, water can be a crucial resource to improve other SDGs, such as education, such as the SDG on human or environmental health, or gender equality. We actually have the human right on water and sanitation, so that really can be a starting point to spur action and to truly leave no one behind, which is central to the SDGs, really. And actually, if we're going to be speaking about those opportunities, a sobering thought is that they actually come from very real gaps, and these gaps, I'm just going to drop some numbers. We've got 100 billion euros per year that we're missing to still meet SDGs 6.1 and 6.2 by 2030. And at the same time, right now, 855 million people are still without adequate access to water resources, and 2.3 billion people are still without access to adequate sanitation services. So we truly need more action, we truly need more investment. All of that is obviously stretched by looming threats. We've got climate change, we've got obviously the ongoing pandemic, rising inequality, rapid urbanization, all exerting pressure on the water sector. But I can tell you there is a wave of change on the horizon, and we just need to ride it. So today I'm inviting you to Studio 3 for the water and sanitation session. We're going to have incredible ideas, initiatives, innovations to truly turn the tide, so to say, and see how we can get those massive opportunities from the gaps that I mentioned. I'm just going to tell you some of the questions we're going to cover today. We're going to look at how WASH innovations spur inclusive growth, especially making sure that the most vulnerable are targeted. Then we're going to look at the potential of water as a connector and how it can be enabled. Then we're going to look at what ingenious initiatives exist that future-proof WASH, like I said, looming threats vis-a-vis those looming threats. And then in the end, what immediate opportunities exist for private sector involvement in the water sector. Obviously also a big theme across all of the segments that we have at the EDDs. So, incredible sessions. We've got on deck UNICEF, Global Water Partnership, WaterAid, SNV, Festo Didactic, and many, many other speakers from the public-private sector, from academia and civil society. And you also don't want to miss a chance to get actually the take of Executive Director Henrietta Fore of UNICEF and Jakaya Kikwete, the ex-president of Tanzania. So I'm waiting for you, Studio 3. See you soon.
Thank you, Nicolas. Well, actually, we live in a very polluted world, and swift action is really needed in key polluting industries. I'm turning now to Jack. You covered the EU from Brussels as an EU correspondent. Pitch us why the audience should come listen to your important topic.
Hi Valerie, hi Dave. Yeah, so we're here in Studio 4 here at the European Development Days. The topic this afternoon here in our studio is pollutions and chemicals. We have a series of high-level panels, interviews, debates, project labs, a lot of stuff going on here which are going to look at different angles of pollution and chemicals. We have a high-level panel which is going to be about a zero pollution ambition for a toxic-free environment. That's organised by the French government, that panel. We also are going to have a brainstorming lab which is about harnessing tobacco controls contributions to a greener economy. Firstly, smoking itself, but the production of tobacco being obviously a polluter. Then we're also going to have a debate about boosting circularity in the global textile industry. That will be an Agora debate that I will host here in the studio. Some of our panels will be outside and hosted by other moderators. And then we'll also have another look at the textile industry, because it is a huge polluter. When you bear in mind that 150 billion items of clothing are made every year for the 7 billion people in the world. And we're going to look at more externally, specifically at Myanmar and the clothing sector there, exactly how we need to make sure that more is done in these global trends to reduce the pollution from clothing and therefore the toxins getting into the environment. We also have a lab debate, Save Lives, Protect Food and Slow Climate Change All at Once. That debate will look at making sure that governments are looking across the board at how they come together, all of the different ministries, to protect in the environment and protect climate change. And we'll also look at People for Nature. This is a project that was actually recognised by the Paris Peace Forum, getting people active themselves, normal grassroots people active in fighting climate change. And this is all going to be under this umbrella of pollution and chemicals. It's going to be a great day. Make sure you join us here in Studio 4. Dave, Valérie.
Thanks, Jack. So that brings us to the last topic presentation of the day, which is both a point of departure and a point of arrival in a circular economy. That's education and training, which will be moderated by Tamsin ROSE, Senior Fellow at the Africa-Europe Foundation. Tamsin, what role do education and training play in the greener economy?
Well, welcome to everyone. Here in Studio 5, we're after your mind. Most specifically, we want to stimulate it to think differently, because education and skills are absolutely key to the green transformation. In fact, I'd go so far as what we're looking for is a revolution, and a revolution being evolution plus speed and time. We talk about the fourth industrial revolution. We talk about the need for a green transition. What links them together? It's education and skills, because behavior is learned. So how do we shape the learning environment so that people have the skills they need to adapt for what's coming, the changes that will arrive in our climate and our planet? We all know that we need a different way of producing, of consuming, of living and working. But how do we get there? How do we get rid of the old mindsets and bring in new ones? We need teachers and trainers who can instill in people a learning mindset. Now, the last 18 months has given the world a sharp learning curve about what change looks like. COVID showed us things when they are disruptive. How do we deal with uncertainty when things are unpredictable? They require us to evolve our way of thinking, to find new ways of solving problems. And in the last 12 months, the world has found new ways forward. We've connected our data, we've collaborated, we've invented and co-created a different future. So in our sessions this afternoon, we've got some great speakers, some great topics. We're going to explore how do we make sure that education and skills is inclusive. It leaves no one behind. And let's be clear, we can't afford to leave people behind. We need everyone's cognitive capacity to help us co-create the future. For the children in primary school today, for 60% of them, the jobs they're going to do don't exist yet. Or they do exist, but the way that they'll be done is radically different from the way they're done today. So how do we train for jobs that we don't know how they exist? How do teachers provide a curriculum that is workable and usable? The answer is to focus on skills that are transferable, skills that allow people to analyze patterns and data, find a way forward, find the signal in the noise so they can create a new option. We know for the green revolution, a lot of it depends on technology that hasn't been invented yet. So how do we create the mindset of inventors and entrepreneurs who will help build this future? Join us here in Studio 5 and I'll tell you some of the highlights. We have a high-level panel that's looking at how you make the green transition, what skills we need to get there, and then how do we train for them? We've got an Agora session that looks at teachers as the stars of the program. They are the guiders and mentors of the next generation. They accompany people in their transition out of the old way of work to the new way of work. But what can we do to empower and support teachers to build in their curriculum so they can pass it on to others? We'll be exploring how gender plays a role, making sure that the future of work and of skills is gender inclusive. We've got a fascinating brainstorming activity, and I won't tell you much more because we'll hear at the end of the afternoon, but I'm just going to tell you it involves time travel, creating alternative scenarios about how we get to a world in 2030, different visions of what the world could be like. And we'll be particularly focusing in on the digital skills and how we give African youth the digital skills and capacity, the coding to create the new ideas to move forward. So join us in Studio 5. We've got a wonderful afternoon, and we'll be looking at how to stimulate your mind to generate an intellectual revolution for the green transition.
Thank you, Tamsin. We have come to the end of the presentation of the scheduled programming, but Dave, I hear something else is happening on this channel.
That's right, Valerie. This channel will actually host 2 special events this afternoon. So we keep hearing that women are the most impacted by climate change, but they're also the best bet to achieve a more sustainable planet. So you can come here to hear from European and African women leaders in Forging a Women's Alliance for Cross-Continental Climate Leadership. That special event is scheduled at 3 o'clock Brussels time, that's 1 o'clock Universal time, on this channel.
And before we leave, the youth will have a final say on how to preserve biodiversity. You are all invited to hear and share stories of change with young leaders from all over the world. The EU Commissioner Jutta Urpilainen and Christian Samper of the high-level group on biodiversity in the panel Youth Action on Biodiversity. And that panel will take place at 5:15 Brussels time. That is 3:15 Universal time.
Thanks, Valerie, and thank you to all the thematic moderators we've had so far, and thank you to the audience who are following at home from all over the world, and from what I hear are really making some great contributions. We wish you all a great EDD experience this afternoon. If this is the afternoon for you, it's the afternoon for us. And if you cannot get enough of EDD, I've got good news for you. We have even more in store for you. Check out the brainstorming sessions, the interactive digital village, and the networking platform, which you can all find there on the web platform.
And if you're still afraid of missing out, rest assured all sessions are recorded and will be available for replay on the EDD event platform. Thank you, Dave, and see you all tomorrow.